We're live. Just an American Citizen, Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. Wanted to bring some things up to date, go over some issues. We really have to. I just think it's necessary. I appreciate all the people who've been watching and getting a lot of comments afterwards. Not as many on the live, but a lot afterwards. But let's go over a few things first. One, America is a great country. America's got lots of problems. Lots of problems. We have to deal with them. We have internal problems. We have external problems. But at the same time, where else can you go where you can just go on and live stream? Where else can you go on to 4, 5, 6 other platforms and just say what you want to say? Where else can you go and buy what you want to buy? Where else can you go and work where you want to work? Where else can you go to school like you can here? Where else can you just go outside? Like I said, problems everywhere. We have immigration. We're going to talk about that. We have some crime issues, some other things. But at the same time, where else would you rather live? Why would you want to leave? If you want to, there are other places out there. Feel free. At the same time, look at all the people flying in up from the borders, not because they're forced out of their countries and just have to go somewhere. It's because they want to come here. Keep that in mind. A great, great country. Now, let's talk quickly about MAGA, Trump, and this Trump hush money trial, really the judicial system. And let's put all this together. Trump was found guilty of 34 counts of whatever he was charged with, right? Found guilty. He's a felon. Period. The end. That's what the jury found. And it's interesting because all you hear about from the people, from the MAGAs or the right wing who have a real problem with our judicial system is that everything was fixed. Yet so many of them came and tried to fix the case themselves. They all came in with their red ties. You know, am I missing something? Red is communist. Where I grew up, the USSR was communist. They were called the Reds. You didn't wear red. So all these MAGAs who want to go back to the great times, I suppose, when red and the communists were happening over at the USSR, they're all wearing their red tie. And they come in to try to impose themselves on the jurors. They came in, a group, they come in, they look tough, they look hey, they wear their uniforms, they do everything they can, or they did everything they can to affect the case. I have to assume they hurt Trump. I have to assume coming in looking like you're just big tough guys and then going out and talking a lot and wearing the same uniforms when you should be in Congress working made the jury realize that this guy's got a real problem here, and maybe he doesn't talk the truth if he's got to send his enforcers in. And at the same time, think about the case. You're a juror. You're listening to this case. You hear Trump's attorney say in an opening statement that Trump did not sleep with Stormy Daniels. Really? Everybody knows he did. They sure didn't prove otherwise. They put her up there and she said everything she had to say to make it obvious to a jury that he did sleep with her. And what would have happened if Trump had just been honest for one time or one of the few times in his life and said, yeah, I slept with her? All he had to say was, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done it. I didn't want Melania to hear about it. I didn't want my family to hear about it. It was horrible. I shouldn't have done it. And then the case would have been over. And I paid her off so nobody would know. The case would have been over. The jury wouldn't have found him guilty because he used the money to protect his family, but not Trump, because Trump thinks that lies can just continually build and build and build, and he can get away with them. And so far he has. But here he is. He's now a convicted felon. Not only that, remember that he owes $80-some million to a woman for sexually assaulting her. Another jury found him guilty there. And he's got a real problem with his business in New York with tax issues. What is that, $400 million? So Trump's response is, instead of just trying to deal with issues, but why should we be surprised? It's just to go barreling forward and to make everybody on his side go barreling forward with him. So now what do? Now they attack the justice system. Now, well, they've been doing it for a while, but now they attack the justice system. Donald Trump, who ran on lock her up, though now he says he never said it, though it's all over the place. Lock her up. Yet, why are the Democrats weaponizing everything? He begged his attorney general to do it, Sessions. Sessions left being a senator to be his attorney general. He begged him to do it. He wouldn't do it. Lock her up. And now he says, oh, why are they after me? Well, maybe because you broke a lot of laws. Maybe because you just lie a lot. And when you're found guilty, the justice system found you guilty. Keep this in mind. Everybody keeps forgetting it. They sure don't say this on Fox. On Fox, it's like crazy. I watch Fox. It's like Laura Ingraham, Hannity, Jesse Waters. Woo! They don't know really that a Democratic senator has been indicted, Senator Menendez, and is on trial by the Justice Department, and a congressman from Texas has been indicted. And Hunter Biden has got 2 cases going, one in Delaware and one in California. And he's like, what, the president's son? So we've got that going on. But no, the Justice Department isn't fair. And then so what happens is, the MAGAs, the Make America Great Again, who I keep waiting to hear from, when was it so great that you want to go back to that's better than it is now? Tell me that great time. You didn't even live that far back to know most of the MAGAs live. It's great now, but at the same time, the MAGAs, tell me, please. I've been waiting to hear it. I get stuff sometimes. I don't get good answers most of the time. What is it about the judicial system finding this guy guilty because he lied wrong? And why do the Republicans always jump up and down and yell and scream? They tried to find all this money. They had Biden all set up, the president. Yeah, right. They got nothing. So all they do is the best way to win is to just go forward. Just go forward. If you listen to them on Fox, it's easy because Fox lays out the easy questions. I love watching Fox. And then I just start yelling at the TV. And then they get these didactic answers all the time, all the way through, especially during that trial. I mean, their lawyers couldn't even move off of square one of guilt, of fixed. You go to CNN, and there they had a lot of people saying he was guilty. There was, a probable cause, and he may get off. And you had a lot of that going on. But at the same time, so they're doing a great job with that. They did a great job with the trial, but with politics, saying they're in the middle. What happens now is listen to them ask questions of the Republican candidates or Republican office holders or whomever on CNN. They ask a question, and they don't get an answer. They just get this same didactic answer. And if you turn to Fox News, you'd hear, okay, and then you sit down and they let them just keep talking through it. And when the questioner, whoever the interviewer is, most of them on CNN, try to interrupt meekly, the Republican goes, I'm not finished. Really? You're not even answering the question. So CNN's doing a horrible job with that. But if you hear them, it's the same stuff back and forth. It was like Laura Trump saying, the daughter-in-law of Donald Trump, the convicted felon, 34 times. That, Larry Hogan, who's running for Senate in Maryland, by saying we should just kind of accept the jury's verdict and move on. Oh, Republicans hate him. We should throw him out. We should cast him out. Sometimes I wonder, though, if she didn't make a deal with Hogan, because by saying that, she gives Hogan credibility in Maryland, because Maryland is so Democratic and so blue, it ain't even close. So Hogan gets a lot of weight by going, see, I'm standing up to Larry Trump, and they play the game. Maybe, for all I know, they could be playing it together. Who knows? It's politics. And man, all you got to do is go to the National Enquirer and get them to pay somebody off. So we have all that going on, and then we attack Merrick Garland in Congress. And they just call them names, and they jump up and down. And I just don't understand. Why don't the Republicans just deal with issues like the border? Now, I keep hearing immigration, and it's all Biden, and why didn't he just put this executive order in before? Well, maybe because this issue has been going on for 3 or 4 administrations. The Bushes, Obama, Trump, Biden. Congress never comes up with a deal. Reagan, I think that was the last deal. What was that, back in the 80s? Congress never comes up with an answer. This immigration issue has been with us for so long, and Congress does nothing. I don't care what administration it is. I don't care what party you're in. We've done lots of videos on immigration over the years. Please go to Just an American Citizen. You'll see them there. We've been asking, please come up with an answer. All Congress has to do is a bill. If you do a bill, there's no legal real ramifications because it's hard to sue to try to set aside laws passed by Congress as against executive orders. But all these years, we're talking decades. And these Republicans and MAGAs now act like something's better now. Really, MAGA? Go back 20 years and see we have no answers because everything we didn't do then led to where we are now. It's Congress. Yeah, the presidents didn't do a good job, but Congress has done nothing. And they are totally, I don't care, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you are, you totally blew it. You keep blowing it. And it's so obvious to people, I would think, that they're just playing politics with it now. And when you hear the MAGAs, I always love it. The American people want, the American people this. Really? Hey, Congressman, what do? You represent 700,000 people? You ain't the American people. And it's probably just a small majority, or even if it's a big majority. The number isn't that big. You don't speak for the American people. I can tell you this. I'll bet you the American people want things done. We've had stuff done. We're getting roads built. There's certain things getting done. Insulin. There's some issues that are working. We don't have everything working. We've got issues. The border, inflation, foreign defense, which is nasty, and we really have to deal with, which is our big problem right now. We got 4 major enemies against us there. Iran, Russia's number 1, China, and North Korea. But we get to that later. But we got to deal with that. Meanwhile, we're fighting with each other. That's got to stop. Look at what's going on. Our judicial system works. Quit yelling and screaming. Quit doing all this stuff. Let me see. And I think I hit all my issues except for one, because I'm a believer as an old boomer that music soothes the savage soul. So why don't we come on to this? Oh, yeah. Steppenwolf's first album, Stereophonic, Dunhill Records, Born to Be Wild, John Kay, there he is, and Steppenwolf. Lots of great music on here. The Pusher Man, well before people were talking about all the stuff we have now with fentanyl. I know that song. The Girl I Knew, The Ostrich, Hoochie Coochie Man, Sookie, 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 Sookie Sue. Listen. When you get these albums, when you get this music and you stream it, get the original. Don't go and get the updated ones where they add all this other music. Just listen to the albums the way they were supposed to be listened to, the way they were laid out by the artists. Just some great music there. Well, that's where we are. Please check us out, Just American Citizen. Please subscribe. Always feel free to leave comments. You see, I always drop responses. We're on shorts. We're on longs. And really appreciate seeing you this Friday. In 2 days, we may have ourselves a special guest star. Look forward to seeing you then. Oh, and I forgot to say it. And that's the way it is, period.